We will have a short panel discussion only. We would love to hear from our Zoom participants. Just give us maybe 2 questions. Yes, there we have a question from the floor. I would like to give the microphone now to Dean Nithya, maybe as they're fixing the chairs.
My question actually is very simple and direct question. I saw the statistics on those who have been assessed and certified. It's a phenomenal number, 150 over 1,000 people. So my question is, the original intention of MRA-TP is to allow for job mobility in ASEAN. That's one. The other one, I guess, also to raise the level of standard, but for the person who's been trained, it's also about getting a better salary, right? If you get assessed, you get more qualification, better qualification, you should get better salary. So what has happened to these two, given that you have 150,000 people? I'm sure you have some data on this.
Thank you very much for that very nice question. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone from TESDA right now who is actually a keeper of the statistics for who have been assessed or who have been certified. But we have a very good number based on the annual report that is actually published by TESDA. We have a 95% competency passing for tourism qualification. But going back to mobility, there is no free movement, okay? Because we have to also honor the local labor force that is available here. If everybody just went anywhere, we're going to have problems about local people not getting the jobs that are meant for the local people. So what each country has to do is to actually to advise the ASEAN Tourism Professional Monitoring Committee that they have a demand that they cannot supply for this particular qualification, and only then will they be able to accept people for those qualifications. In terms of salary, again, there is no, I remember that question being asked in a gathering of ASEAN MRA representatives. We cannot define the standard salary, simply because there's a lot of push and pull elements in each economy, depending also on the minimum salary that is defined in a country. But of course, people will go where there is a higher salary that's given. And you're talking about most probably Singapore, Brunei, Malaysia, Thailand, where people are going to gravitate towards, because this is where you have more salaries that are higher. But I guess for the other members of the team, you may want to give in your 2 cents worth, yes?
At least with the assessment and certification of our tourism professionals, we are assured that the Filipino workforce are actually competent, and their competencies are recognized and at par with international standards. So at most, that is what we have to offer.
Yes, okay. So minimum standards defined by the CATC is something that we want to promise. However, there is no stopping any country to add on to the competencies that you have, because you want to also make sure that there is an advantage that a country would have versus the other countries as well. You want to add? Yes?
I think that's a very interesting question, because for most of the discussion, we need to take a look at data. And what Dinita was inquiring about was that, you know, the movement, like what's the percentage and all. But unfortunately, that is something that we need to work on, not only in the Philippines, but I guess consolidated data, so that we can already make an assessment whether the ASEAN MRA-TP aspirations are really being achieved, at what level, are there any issues and gaps? Because if we try to leverage the movement, actually it's been happening even before the inception of the ASEAN MRA for TP, but a very good database of tourism workforce for each of the countries being recipient and those deploying this manpower for different qualifications. I think those are really very important things that we have to do moving forward, and we really hope that ATPMC could take a look at that, so data can provide trends.
Yes.
And it can actually answer a lot of questions.
Okay. Mobility is not just different ASEAN member states, but because each country would have regions or different areas also which are less developed in terms of tourism development. But right now, a lot of tourism development are happening in various destinations also. You want to level the kind of service that you get from maybe a province that didn't have any tourist arrivals. What MICE is doing right now, they're actually going beyond the traditional metro cities like Cebu, Davao, and now I saw in the list, there's Mindoro already, there's Isabela, etc. These are areas where they don't have as many tourism professionals yet, but within the country we can now make sure that the level of service that each one will provide in whether in the restaurant, in food production will actually meet the discriminating requirements of our tourist guests. Any more thoughts to add? One more question, okay, in the interest of time, from Mr. Asep Paranantika, okay. In the Philippines, has tourism industry, especially hotels, made competency certificates one of the requirements to recruit new employees? If so, how does the government ensure quality assurance for certificate holders? Would you have a response to this?
As of now, the requirement of a national certification is not mandatory, but it is actually encouraged, and one of the plans is actually to make it a requirement in the future for DOT accreditation. So we hope to have a certain number of certified workers in the hotel industries at that.
Okay, I think it's already part of the accreditation as mentioned by ASEC Rica that at certain levels you should be required, they need to have a certain percentage of the workforce with national certificates already. Yes.
Yes, from the lens of the academia, so for us, we send our students for certifications because as mentioned earlier, the job prospects are not just limited within the Philippines. And normally when the graduates of the tourism and hospitality programs would go anywhere in the world, in ASEAN or anywhere in the world, they would ask for national competency certifications demonstrating specific skills. So even though it's not being required yet by the hotels in the Philippines, it's actually a plus point for them. We're not limiting that the diploma can actually address several competencies, but it's a telltale sign that they can do things specifically for certain qualifications. So we still send them to certifications and assessment.
Okay, thank you very much. Going through the title, Transforming the Future of MICE, can I just change it to ASEAN Mutual Recognition Arrangement in the tourism, for the tourism profession? Where do you see DOT as well as academe in this endeavor?
Of course, DOT would always support the establishment of competency standards for MICE because if we wish to have a successful MICE industry in the country, then the provision of consistent, excellent quality of tourism services should go hand in hand with the facilities that we have here.
Okay, thank you very much, DOT. And from academe?
Yes, I agree. It's all tied up together. We have to be able to satisfy all the different components for us to be able to really say that indeed the workforce in the tourism and hospitality is competent to do specific tasks. And we're always on the lookout for innovations and development, which is happening, way too fast. And that's actually a challenge and at the same time an opportunity for us to be able to take a look at the current system that we have, issues and gaps, and for us to be able to take a look at how other industries and sectors are doing it excellently. So that could be something that we can really apply to, the institutions that we have. So looking at the future, I think it's going to be very challenging, both in a positive and negative way. But of course, we would like to bank on the, of course, convergence, cooperation of everyone so that we can really push for the tourism and hospitality professionals to be, of course, very relevant, not only in terms of economics, but in terms of really transforming societies, of course, in the different countries that we have contact with.
Okay, thank you very much. Wearing my hat as a chair technical committee member, where we define the policy standards and guidelines for tourism and hospitality management programs, we see this as part of the move towards Philippine credit transfer system, where a lot of tourism students may not even want to finish a 4-year degree anymore. The micro-credentials can actually help them be relevant members of the industry. At this point, I'd like to thank everyone, especially the panel members. We have Ms. Jing and Dr. Beth and myself, talagang 2-in-1 hat. Please stand up so we can say our greeting in DOT, which is
Mabuhay.
Thank you very much.
Mission is to form a network or clusters of ASEAN universities so that the researchers could come together in order to work jointly and also contribute to the ASEAN region itself.
Mabuhay! A pleasant afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 15th ASEAN Tourism Research Association Tourism Forum.
Mabuhay! Love the Philippines!
There's so much of future in event management actually. You can do general or you can specialize. It was actually inspired, just to share a little bit of the history of ASEAN Tourism Research Association. It was inspired by someone who was an advisor to the Ministry of Higher Education back in 2011. He called me and he said, why don't you start something that's very different from others? So I said, okay, let's start ASEAN Tourism Research Association. Why don't we do that?
We are very grateful to have our distinguished guests with us today. Thank you for bringing back the sunshine to the Philippines.
The future of MICE, business events in ASEAN, and the progress of the ASEAN MRA-TP hinge on innovation, sustainability, and teamwork. Today is the perfect opportunity to come together and enhance these efforts.
And another thing that Thailand has realized is that we have a lot of festivals. We have introduced the concept called festival economy so that we can bring festivals locally up to the international level.
The National Tourism Development Plan of 2023 to 2028 has been approved. And this plan seeks to build a tourism industry that is deeply anchored on Filipino culture, heritage, and identity.
What is next future? Future means not next 5 years. Future is beyond that, right? What is next 2040, 2050? In terms of workforce, we won't have many. So this is where the utilization of AI is important.
We are assured that the Filipino workforce are actually competent and their competencies are recognized and at par with international standards.
The thing that we are expecting, most of my colleagues, is if we have a branding but we don't have a strategic action to support the branding, it's useless. The distance between idea and success is execution. And most of the time, the problem is execution.
We were very fortunate that all the schools selected were actually part of the same region for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
I must congratulate you for all the sharings that you have shared with us for tourism and MICE industry.
Mabuhay! Love the Philippines!
Now the the Philippines, love Metro Manila, it all starts here. Mabuhay at maraming salamat. Thank you for your time and attention, and let us work together to continue to transform the future of MICE in ASEAN and beyond.